If you're already doing 30 to 50K per month in your coaching or consulting business and you're stuck there longer than you want to admit, this isn't a strategy, funnel, ad, content problem. It's an identity problem. And in the next 12 minutes, I'm going to show you how and why people half as good as you are is getting twice the recognition, and the exact process that took one of my clients from 30 to 50K per month to 600K per month by changing almost nothing about the offer, the funnel, or the ads. Your business will never outgrow your identity. Let me show you what that actually means. Here's what I know is true for you right now. You're closing on calls. You can feel it when you're in your zone, in a DM, sending a voice note to a client. You know exactly who you are and what you do. You've got conviction. You've got authority. You got client results, right? And then you open Instagram and your brand looks like raw screenshots, random visuals, and content that you're not even sure whether you like it or not. And half as good as you are, it reads like still someone figuring it out. And you watch your competitors, people you know aren't as sharp, don't close as hard, don't get clients the same results, outrank you. You take your foot off for a week and everything resets. The brand isn't building anything behind you. You're the whole machine every single time. Let me be specific of who this actually works for. This is for you if you're already making real money, 30, 50, 100K per month as a coach, consultant, or an agency owner. You've got results, client wins, proof. That part isn't a question anymore. You can feel the gap between who you are and your work and what your brand is actually showing in your Instagram, the market in general. This is not for you if you don't have a proven offer yet. Go get your first 10 wins first, then come back. You want a logo refresh or a Canva template pack. That's not what this is. You want to be told you're great. You want to be told you're good. But I'm going to tell you where your brand is lying about who you actually are. Still here? Good. Keep watching. Here's what everyone teaches when you hit the plateau you're in. New offer, new funnel, new ads, better hooks, sharper scripts, post more, revamping what you already have. And that's treating your ceiling like a strategy problem. But believe it or not, it's not. You already have a strategy. You already have a framework that's clearly working because you've already been into this point. You have an offer that works, a funnel that converts on calls, and ads you can run if you want to. The reason you're stuck isn't strategy. The reason you're stuck is your external brand is built on a different identity than your internal operator. The new way is called identity-based systems. There's 3 principles underneath it. Number 1 is conviction, authority, and confidence. These aren't personality traits. They're positioning assets. Most founders leave them on the table because nobody's ever shown them how to pull that internal identity into external marketing assets. 2, content that comes from execution mode, broadcasts effort. Content that comes from identity, broadcasts positioning. Positioning is what pre-sells. Effort is what exhausts you. 3, the real transaction your clients aren't buying isn't the tactic. It's the identity exchange. Who they get to become in the process. Money is just the receipt. Here's the real problem. Here's what nobody tells you at your level. You don't have a content problem. You don't have a funnel problem. You don't have an ads problem. You have a brand identity mismatch, right? On a sales call, you're a 300K per month operator. In your voice notes to clients, you're a 300K per month operator. In how you hold conviction, how you give hard truths, and how you lead a client, you're already there. Then the market opens your profile and sees a 30K per month operator's brand, even less. That gap is why your pipeline resets every morning. It's why competitors compound and you don't. It's why content feels like a grind because you're creating from execution, not from identity. You're broadcasting effort when you should be broadcasting who you already are and what you're actually good at because you have examined everything down to a T on a surgical level. Fix the identity layer underneath the brand and the whole thing stops dragging. Your content pre-sells. Close rates go up because prospects are primed before they ever hit your calendar. Better clients show up because identity aligned content repels the wrong people and attracts the right buyer. Let me walk you through one of my clients. He was already doing 50 to 100K, already closing, already had authority, already had deep craft and real results. No questions. He wasn't stuck because he wasn't good. He was stuck because the market couldn't see how good he already was. And his brand was raw screenshots, random visuals, no system, no positioning. He looked like someone still figuring it out, and he hadn't been figuring it out for years. What we did is we ran the identity audit first, mapped the gap between his internal identity, conviction, authority, charisma, clarity. This could be different from every single type of person, but what matters is you know exactly what makes you special and different, so you have a unique differentiation from every single one else, rooting from your identity level. That internal identity and the gap between what the market was actually seeing. The diagnosis was immediate. His content was coming from execution mode. He was broadcasting effort, not positioning. Then we did identity extraction, pulled the specific traits that function as marketing levers, his conviction, his authority, his way of reading a room, and turned them into positioning assets his brand could deploy. Then brand realignment, not a rebrand. We rebuilt the visual system around trust, authority, and conviction, pulled directly from who he already was, not a trend, not what competitors were doing. Then we installed content from resonance, case study carousels, and reels that documented full journeys, not just results. These assets started doing the selling 24/7 because they were already built on conviction, not persuasion. Then vision lock, 10-year brand vision clarified, so every piece of content, every touch point, every decision runs through one filter. And after that, obviously, we hit 600K in our best month. We're hitting constantly at 400K per month. But what the most important thing is that we created an industry leading positioning for him. Competitors started copying his brand, and close rates, most especially, went up. Not because of a better script, but because prospects were already primed by the identity before the call even comes up. Better clients showed up, the kind who take accountability, because the content was repelling the wrong people. Here's the part that matters. We didn't change not much of his offer. Of course, we improved some stuff, but we didn't change his funnel. We didn't change his closing. We aligned what the market could see with who he already was. The ceiling moved itself. But what's the most important thing is that Nick isn't an outlier. Here's what's been happening behind the scenes across the portfolio of the clients that I've worked before. Dre haven't lost or churned a client for straight 18 months. Tristan has already been doing 100K months, and he's installing the exact same systems that I saw with Nick and Dre to make sure that it doesn't plateau.
Right out the gate, bro, your system is so structured. You obviously know what you're talking about. It's more clear, right? Like, it's not like I have to guess what the next step is. I was looking at your dashboard. I was looking at this sheet right here. I know you probably didn't show me a lot. This is probably like 10% of what you can do, bro. You know what I mean? Or maybe even less. Like, you have solid structure, man. And you're helping with the content, you're helping with the positioning, you have worksheets. Yours is a lot better than their program. That it's only a matter of time. Like, now in my mind, I've already pictured it as we're already there. We've already established. I know it takes time, it takes work, but like, we're already there. Whatever you're doing right now, bro, don't fucking stop, man.
Because the biggest problem next, after scaling, is not scaling again, but actually staying where you are at and keeping it at bay. So you become ready in your fulfillment and in your content side, and even in your identity side when you want to scale again. Same pattern in everyone. Skilled operator, but brand is underselling the operator, meaning you hit a ceiling. Align the identity first, and then the ceiling moves. Here's what the actual step-by-step process is. 1. Identity audit. We diagnose the gap between your internal identity, who you are on calls, in your voice message, in your zone, and your external brand. We surface the traits that are already doing work invisibly and aren't yet doing work in the market, meaning they cannot see what you actually have, and you're just one of the thousands of people doing the exact same thing. Now, number 2 is identity extraction. We pull the specific traits that operate as marketing levers: conviction, authority, confidence, and vision. 3 is brand alignment. We rebuild the visual system, tone, and narrative so the external brand matches the internal operator. Because here's the thing, if you don't have a narrative within your brand and you haven't figured it out, you are in big trouble because no people will ever remember who you actually are, and you will never be able to differentiate yourself from your competitors because there's nothing much more special, and no people can follow a story because everything here is a story. Your case studies, your testimonials, your results, even your whole business is a story. And you don't, if you don't have one brand narrative that actually follows, that becomes a filter for everything, you're on a deep possibility of plateauing, and you might have been experiencing this already. This is not a logo refresh, it's realignment at the identity layer. Number four is the content from resonance. We install the content systems, pin carousels, story sequences, case study reels, hook banks, and most importantly, the philosophical frameworks on how to actually influence someone's identity, because we know that identity drives behavior and behavior drives decision. Decision with the right action, monetary gain leads to conversion, and conversion is what's gonna make us scale from 0 to 10K to 100K, and especially high six figures. These attract through resonance instead of effort. Content stops being something you create and start being something your brand compounds. Number five, and lastly, is that we vision lock. We clarify the 10-year brand vision lock and the identity the brand will operate from. Every piece of content, every touch point, every decision runs through one filter. You stop second guessing and start compounding because one question solved by the right person with the right credibility and the right authority and experiences who's already done this exact same thing that you're about to do with the right person, that is the biggest cheat code that you can unlock that will decrease the delay of time that you can get to where you want to be. That's the whole thing. 5 steps. The sequence matters because you can do brand alignment before extraction, and you can do extraction before the audit. When you work with me, here's what's in the box. One-on-one weekly strategy calls with me directly. No other person, just me and you talking about the single bottleneck that's holding you back from before and going all in weekly and solving the right process as the problem goes. And full identity audit and extraction done with you, not handed to you. Brand alignment rebuild, visual system, tone, and narrative. Content from resonance installation, pin carousels, store sequence architecture, case study system, and hook bank, and most importantly, the philosophical frameworks that we talked about. Vision lock session to finalize the 10-year brand operating identity. Because if you're playing for 1 year in this exact industry, you're gonna be off to losing it. Because if you want to actually stay, you need to plan the 10-year ahead. And what better way to do it than now? Of course, you're gonna access me one-on-one in WhatsApp or in Discord. You're gonna get access to step-by-step guide on how to actually done all of this execution-wise in a specific dashboard with guides on Loom and specific SOPs and templates. And most importantly, you will access a course on how to actually upgrade your identity so you start acting like the person you want to become, and then installing it and plugging it into their systems so you can give it to your sales team, you can give it to your fulfillment so that you attract the right pre-sold clients, you attract the best 8-player talent, and then you also attract the clients that take accountability, because clients who take accountability are the ones who get the best results, and the clients that are the biggest case studies potentially for you and me. Direct work on your brand and your identity one layer at a time. And most importantly as well, you will access the network of 8-player talent that I have in my arsenal, to which I used and sourced from, that I was able to create or assemble a content team that's responsible for scaling to 1 million a month. I'm gonna vet everyone for you so that you actually get the right people, because here's the thing. Your brand needs to start attracting 8 players. Your brand also need to attract the right team members for you, because it goes the same way. If you can attract the right team members that will work for you and run through a wall for you to do the right things in order for you to achieve the goals that you have and set for your team, then you having a problem not in the content, not in client acquisition. It's far more deeper than that. It's in your identity. Quick note on why I'm telling you this, because I've been into the biggest consultancies in the space, and what I have seen and figured out is that a lot of the people's problems in these clients doing 30 to 50K per month, they have already sold the content, the strategy, and the fulfillment processes, and even their own offers. But what's the most important thing right now is that the level of differentiation matters the most, more than anything else. And it all stems from the identity part. Because if you cannot pull the right marketing levers in part of your identity so that you can attract the clients who actually values the same stuff as you value, you will never be able to differentiate yourself. And you will have a unique positioning and develop that brand gravity that you have. The moment I realized that the ceiling wasn't strategy is when one of my clients asked me one question and I answered it with three different step-by-step process, and we implemented it for straight 2 months, and after that we generated almost $500,000. What's the most important thing is that most people haven't figured out how to actually systematize and operationalize how to actually extract someone's identity and plug it into an actual SOPs, frameworks, and training guides for every single client, team members, and even yourself. And fortunately for me, I was able to systematize everything in the process, that I was able to help one person, two person, three person, multiple other ones, and create the same exact result in varying industries in adjacent markets. And it's the reason why I was able to help the biggest names in the info market and going all in on what I actually have to offer in the market and making my own brand as well. And now we're here. I'm not a branding person. I'm not a content coach. I'm an operator who figured out that the ceiling most good founders hit is an identity ceiling. And I built the process that moves it. Three things you're probably thinking of right now. I've tried working on my brand before. Yeah, you probably tried a logo refresh, a new color palette, maybe a template pack, or maybe someone else's template packs and standardized operations that you've installed in your systems that currently doesn't work. That's not branding. That's decoration. Branding without identity underneath is why it didn't move the number. This is the layer underneath the layer. The design doesn't matter. The way you do things doesn't matter. What matters most if it's aligned actually in the specific situation that you have based on your current trajectory. My brand looks fine to me. You think your brand looks fine to you. The issue isn't that it's ugly or you're not posting more or you're not presenting it well. The issue is it's misaligned. Half as good competitors outrank you because their brand compounds while yours reset every morning. If your pipeline depends on you showing up hard every single day and your brand isn't doing the work behind you, that's the tell. Is this a mindset thing? No. Mindset is internal and stays internal. This is the opposite. We take what's already inside you and pull it into external positioning assets. The mechanism is identity converted into marketing levers. Money is the receipt, but the work is structural. It's not just motivational. It's systematized operations and philosophical frameworks that attracts psychological triggers that induces behaviors. And what does behavior do? It drives people's actions. If any of this is hitting the ceiling, the gap between who you are on calls and what your brand shows, the compounding competitors that reset every morning, book an identity audit call with me. Links in the description. It's just 30 minutes. No pitch. We'll map the gap between your internal identity and your external brand. And I'll tell you the one layer that's holding the whole thing back. If we are a fit to work together, I'll tell you if we're not, right? If we're not, I'll tell you what to do and what not to do, so you still have the right direction. Come with one thing. Your profile open on your phone. That's all you need. One last thing. Your business will never outgrow your identity. You can change the offer. You can change the funnel. You can change the ads. You can change the hooks. But if the identity underneath the brand doesn't change, you'll hit the same ceiling 3 months from now. Different wall, same height. Align the outside with the inside, and the ceiling moves on its own. I'll see you on the call, and I appreciate you watching this video.